I'm Julie Marsden. I'm a yoga teacher, a meditation teacher. And then taking hold of that left knee with your right hand, make sure your core's engaged and just draw it across the body. And I believe this place chose me, I didn't choose it. So since I've moved here and changed my lifestyle completely, I've been doing more yoga, more meditation. This year I had a big birthday and I wanted to do something special. For recognising the 60 years I've been here and all the nurture I've received and everything that I've gone through. This is where the whole idea of doing a walk came from.
In 2018, Julie walked 200 miles from North to Southwest Wales. Sometimes alone and sometimes in company, she followed a series of pilgrims trails that connected Bethesda to Brynberian.
I'd already discussed the idea of what I would walk for, not just for me. I'd seen these peace packs into schools, this project that the World Peace Flame have been involved in, and I'd really like them because I just feel that children are the next generation, and if I could get these peace packs into schools, then I kind of already thought that I'd do it for that, not as a sponsored walk.
Julie decided that any donations she received would go towards having the Peace Book translated into Welsh. The World Peace Flame is a live flame that's kept permanently alight in a glass case outside a yoga centre near Bethesda. It's been there since 1999, and for Julie, who trained at the centre, it represents a powerful focal point for her beliefs. The World Peace Flame has its headquarters in the Netherlands, and it has several aims. It's dedicated to promoting peace through education, funding medical clinics in rural India and providing practical support for grassroots initiatives all around the world. At its most simple, the World Peace Flame encourages people to come together by sharing candles.
So if I now blew this one out and gave that one to you, that you've got a peace flame, so you can then light other people's candles and they become peaceful. So that's the whole idea of the peace flame. So this one here that I bought from Snowdon has been lit by the peace flame at Snowdon. The World Peace Flame can be passed on by lighting a candle from an existing World Peace Flame, keep the flame alight for at least 2 minutes before extinguishing it again. Ancient traditions tell us that in this way the energy of the flame is stored in the wick.
Another purpose of this trek south through Wales was to bring a peace flame home to Brynberian and install it in a peace garden beside the village hall. Julie bought a brass miner's lamp to use in the peace garden, but instead of carrying it with her on the walk, she took a packet of tea lights, planning to light them at various points along her way and to give them to people she met.
I live in this beautiful, beautiful place, but I've also noticed it changing so fast, and I've noticed a big disconnection to people, to each other, and I feel that leads to fear, and then that can lead to anger, if we don't understand each other or connect with each other.
With a departure date of 19th of July to aim for, she had to sort practicalities and get her news out there.
I just started telling everybody, because I did realise that if I didn't say anything, I wouldn't do it. So I just told anybody. Even before I set off, I was on a weekend of meditation up in Snowdonia, and there was a young Italian lady who'd heard about what I was doing. She wanted to walk with me one morning. She wanted to ask me about the walk she'd heard about, and she said, "I've got a little gift for you," and she gave me a carrier bag, and in it had got a t-shirt, and on the t-shirt it said, "In a world where you can be anything, be kind," and on the side sleeve was printed, "Julie's Peace Flame Walk 2018. Harlock. This is a world peace flame because it was lit from my peace flame. Because that little hollow in that tree. And put those two little cones there. Can you see that? It just called to me. So maybe this is a blessing to the ancient oak trees which we've been walking through this morning. It's actually blown itself out. I'd kind of had the idea that it would be like a solo pilgrimage where I pick up loads of things to learn about myself. But it became very obvious early on that actually it wouldn't be safe for me to walk some of the mountains because this route came right the way down through Wales, so over Cadwaladr, over the Rhinogs, the Cambrian mountains, and eventually over the Preseli. I had to learn early on that I just had to trust that things would work out well. I wanted to connect with more communities and I wanted to reinvent the idea that most people are kind and anyone can do it. It wasn't anything to do with being an endurance test, it was more about the walk and the pace and the reason for doing it rather than having a holiday. And I don't think I realised how tough it would be actually when I started it. The first time it rained, boots filled with water and I started getting blisters. And the blisters stayed with me for probably most of the walk, apart from the last 4 or 5 days. I learnt very early on to have no expectations. And just the kindness of people has just been phenomenal. I heard from a lady in Machynlleth who was doing a peace project into schools. So through her, 2 of her colleagues put me up. And another lady rang me up and said, I can help you at Abergynolwen before Machynlleth. So she said, whereabouts are you going? And I said, I'll be coming over Cadwaladr and then I'll be coming down and the day ends at a place called Pennant Farm. And she said, oh my God, you're walking into my farmyard. So that was pretty special. And she was a Drew yoga teacher, so that was even more special. A lady from my teaching school who sorts out all the professional development, she rang up and said that she would come with her camper van. She'd put a tent up for me and my friend Anne, who I met there, and she would give us a meal and she would give us breakfast and she would give us lunch the first night there, and then she'd take the campsite down and then she would take it over to Llynconbeacon, here, over these mountains, which is what she did.
So how did Julie actually get her peaceful message out there?
I think it was maybe the first day of the school holidays for some schools. So there was loads of people on the pony path. So I said to Anne, you'll just have to bear with me. So I got my little tin out my bum bag with all my leaflets about the peace flame and just gave one to everybody and told everybody. Because I've not had a chance before because we didn't see anybody. So most people that I met were fascinated. Why would I be walking? When I told them about the peace packs into schools and that I feel we're leaving the world to the next generation and we need to teach them peace rather than fear, and we need to build strong communities where there's nurture and love and kindness. You had to be hospitable to pilgrims, it's part of the whole thing. So we should be able to knock on anyone's door and say, can we have a cup of coffee? We were hoping for a fantastic walk through the forest to Machynlleth, but obviously the path had been fenced off. We looked at the map again and realised we got to get up towards this edge of the forest to go through it. So we set off into the forest and sure enough there was like a beautiful sunken lane going through all these big pine trees. But it soon vanished because the trees had fallen down and then huge machines had been in and made ruts. And so for the next probably 2 hours or longer, we just had to try and find a route carefully, and we were chanting our yogic mantras to help us on the way. So we crawled over, under, round and through, and eventually got through that forest. Peace comes from my heart. But I didn't realise what I'd learned till the next day, because the next day I was walking on my own from Machynlleth because Anne had gone home. So anyway, set off, beautiful day, chatted to a lady walking a dog, gave her a peace flame, gave her a leaflet, and off I went, whistling away. And the forest didn't exist, actually, because it'd been cut down. So my route was straight. It was there, clear as a bell. A nice track going up into the mountains. No forest, fantastic. Heather either side of the path, smelling of honey. Wonderful. So I found myself singing at the top of my voice. How amazing is this? Anyway, I was about 1.5 miles from the end of the route, and I came round this corner, and out of nowhere a storm came. Cold wind, absolutely poured with rain. I just had time to grab my raincoat out of my rucksack, wrap it round me. Didn't have time to fasten it up because the wind just blew. I couldn't see probably from here to that wall in front of me. It was just fog. So normally in the past I probably would have panicked at that stage and thought, oh my God, I'm lost, I'm drowned, I'm this, that, and I probably would have dropped the phone in a puddle. But I just stood there and thought, at this moment my feet are on the earth. At this moment I am safe. I'm collecting some petals and leaves for our next mandala, which is going to be in honour of Jill. So I've picked the ash trees just to give thanks to our ashes that are getting this dreadful ash dieback. I started doing these mandalas when I moved to West Wales, and I've just carried it on, so I often make them, and they've become a form of meditation for me. The idea is that I'm not just picking the flowers, because I don't want you to think I just willy-nilly go and grabbing people's flowers. It's about giving gratitude, and I wanted to honour the earth, and I also wanted to give great respect to young people. On my walk, I did one every day. They were to honour the people who'd walked with me the day before or who had put me up because I stayed with strangers. There are community peace flames in Britain, but I thought it'd be really nice to bring one back to Brynberian, so we could have a beautiful garden with a peace flame lit constantly, and the village would be involved in looking after that flame and looking after the garden, so it becomes something for everybody.
As Julie neared home in mid-August 2018, her neighbours planned a warm welcome, and some of them walked the last leg of her journey too.
Shame it's dark, in a way.
Does anybody want any chewing gum?
Go on then.
We're in Italy!
Woo! Before Julie began her walk across Wales, she met a young woman who gave us some t-shirts printed with a message promoting kindness. This young woman's name was Maddie Gray, and she runs a yoga practice on the shores of Lake Como. Maddie's clients include the Rockefeller Centre, which provides scholarships for academics doing humanitarian research. A few weeks after Julie's return home, Maddie invited her to bring a peace flame to the centre. To celebrate this event, several of Julie's yogi friends went to Italy with her.
Start with the right and the in-breath
Out breath.
and out-breath as it comes down, so I'm worried about taking this curtain out. And then you consciously have to swap sides.
Alright.
So I'm talking, not doing it now. So I've kind of completely lost my way.
Before the presentation, Maddie arranged a joint yoga session with some of her own clients.
Hi, I'm Maddie Gray. I was really inspired by Julie's walk with the World Peace Flame.
Fiamme della pace globale. Yay!
I was there right from the beginning when she had the idea to do it, and then saw her with that carry that inspiration into a dream and then into a reality, and I just thought that was really incredible. And we are here in Italy working with the World Peace Flame in that we'd like to bring the peace education back into schools, but when we started to uncover what we believed peace was, we knew it was a lot about also learning to create inner peace. And so we thought, well, how could we bring more peace to people? So something like this, a day event or a retreat would start to help people find some inner peace.
My name is Massimo. I come from Milano. I know Mad. I met her some years ago, and she gave me belle emotion, nice emotion, and I try to relaxing with this, and she gave me the possibility to try something. I like this. I am open to this kind of experience because after I feel good, I try to take away my problem. I understand that the one woman come from a world with this light, but today I understand better, but I want know more about this.
Jane Garnet, the flame travels through different countries, doesn't it? And it's just actually in its, the World Peace Flame, it just says it. I would love to see it. I think everybody needs to do yoga. It's a wonderful feeling.
My name's Karen. I live in Bath. I'm in the UK. I decided to come along on this trip to Italy because I wanted to reconnect with a really great bunch of people that I haven't seen for a really long time and reignite my passion for meditation and yoga again. I also really wanted to find out a bit more about the Peace Flame and what's been happening, what Julie's been doing, and I just wanted to hear it firsthand really, and maybe see if I could perhaps take part in some way in the next year.
We're just using yoga and meditation, being in nature, being in beautiful places like this, connecting by a fire.
So we made a beautiful connection with elderly lady who's very, very wise. And before I went on my journey this year, I walked into Canal Woods, which is a really, really ancient oak forest, and they're really old and they're all gnarled. And there's Marsden, and she used to walk through to school every day and back in the winter and everything. It's a long walk. Tom, sometimes she'd be frightened. So she stood there and she read this poem to me. So I'd like to read it to you because it might bring something to you this weekend. It certainly meant a lot to me. So, and it's by an American called David Wagner. And you might have heard it. It's called Lost. So, stand still. The trees ahead and the bushes beside you are not lost. Wherever you are is called here. And you must treat it as a powerful stranger. Must ask permission to know it and be known. The forest breathes. Listen, it answers. I have made this place around you. If you leave it, you may come back saying, here, no two trees are the same to Raven. No two branches are the same to Wren. If what a tree or a bush does is lost on you, you are surely lost. Stand still. The forest knows where you are.
One lid on, the lid on. Put the lid on. No, it'll stay lit now. Screw it, now the bottom. Screw it round.
I am feeling the urge to go over that. Come on then, let's go over there. Or even if we just... I can't believe how heavy
It's because of that extra. Normally they're only that big because they've been taken down the pit for a drink.
I'm Michela Di Triviasi. So I think that peace is a great value. It is a value that we have to maintain in the future, and since I am a teacher, I think that peace has to be nourished. Because I teach in the secondary school, and I always been ready with civil rights. So I think that we have to educate students to borrow with them these values.
My name is Nora Soprani, and I live here in Como, in Bellagio. The word of passing around peace is a huge thing that's always guided me, so of course I'd like to participate in something that promotes realness and not hiding behind something else that's not you. And so peace always promoted through kindness and truthfulness is always something that I love.
Sarah Cunningham-Burley. I'm an academic at the University of Edinburgh, and I'm here on a writing residency at the Bellagio Centre, and I'm working on a research project that that's been part of my kind of life for the last few years in preparation for writing a book over the next 12 months. So I'm making a big start on that whole final part of the project while I'm here. And this is a wonderful environment in which to do it. The book's about the experiences of cancer in the context of particular developments in medicine that focus on kind of molecular and genomic aspects of cancer. So I'm looking at how new technologies impact on patient experience. Maddie is our yoga teacher here. So the Rockefeller Foundation provides us with yoga should we want to do it, and that's a way of kind of helping us to focus on our work, mend any kind of skeletal problems that come from sitting too long at your desk. And so we've got to know Maddie over the last few weeks, and that's been a wonderful experience doing the yoga with her. And then she told us about this event, and Maddie told us about going down to the harbour and watching the flame come in and then walking up. So rather than just join once it got here at the centre, we wanted to be down there with everybody else and experience that nice sense of community as you come together around a very common concern, and then enjoy the experience of the flame coming here and us all being together.
With folks that this flame monument in our village. So in England, what we're working on now in Britain. So when did you lay it in medicine or here?
And then again, as you inhale, lifting them up, drawing the arms up, drawing in that loop. And then as you exhale, just soften. And again, as you inhale, nice big inhale this time, lifting the arms.
My name is Humour, and I'm Iranian by birth, and I'm an anthropologist, but I work and live in Canada. I'm a dual national. 2 years ago when I was in Iran, I was arrested and put in jail for my academic work. So I have been working on question of academic freedom, but also when I was in jail, I used that opportunity to do anthropology of interrogation, because for anthropologists, participant observation is the main method. I mean, I had a plan to work on interrogation or neither. I had planned to be in jail, but there I was, and I thought, okay, so I do this as a anthropological research while I'm here, and hopefully, at that time I thought, if I get out, I will write on anthropology of interrogation. There was a huge campaign internationally with human rights organization, transnational women's movement, and of course academia, because I'm a professor. And the Canadian government really worked hard to, under pressure from the public, they did follow my case, and after 112 days in jail, I was freed. But before that, I was also about 3.5 months under house arrest. So altogether, it took 7.5 months of my life. This is my 12th day here. The first week was a little bit strange because I thought I'm writing about prison, and in that one of the most infamous prison in the world, and quite primitive in many ways. And then I'm sitting here in this beautiful place, being pampered and taken care of to write in prison. So it all looked a bit odd in some way, but now I think it just put my mind at ease. I think maybe it helps the process of starting to write, especially the parts, not so much about the interrogation, but the part to write about my personal feeling. And it wasn't just me being in jail. There's so many women, so many intellectual writers. People are put in jail for very basic things that here in the West we take for granted. Here may not be ideal still, but there's so many basic things that society could have enjoyed 50 years ago, and they cannot express themselves even in the way their parents and grandparents did. So that's kind of looking at what has brought this violence to the Iranian society.
Mark Tomlinson. I live in Cape Town and I'm from Stellenbosch University, which is just outside of Cape Town. We can train community health workers who then deliver different studies, have done different services around, for example, reducing alcohol use, improving child development, improving maternal mental health, and then we track the mothers and their infants over time. So in fact, some we've tracked for over 18 years now. So the mothers were pregnant and those babies are now 17 years old. South Africa is not a poor country like Ethiopia, but a sort of a middle-income country in a country that's characterized by like very, very high levels of violence. And I'm very interested in what does one need to do to create a society that's not so violence-ridden. And I think that the answer for me lies in the level of individuals and people at the household and the community level. It's not going to be solved by the politicians who mostly, and I think politically, most politicians are probably psychopaths.
Hope is our weapon. That's what keeps us going, and that's what keeps us struggling against all these injustices. And I think I'm very hopeful, despite the fact that I was put in jail for expressing my views on gender equality. But I also think that is what gives us energy to go forward. And when people who have suffered in some way, I mean, in a small way myself, but others, remain hopeful and energetic and participate and push for change, change will come. There's not one step or even one big stretch that will bring the change. There are all these little steps that then at some stage come together. It's like how the rivers are made.
So you never know what happens with a mad idea.
Quindi la lezione da imparare dalla sua storia è un'idea pazzesca come la sua può diventare una cosa grandissima. Quindi questa idea pazzesca si deve seguire, si deve
So this little area here has become my peace flame monument, if you like. Feeling into that stillness where we're connected in that vertical, away from our busy lives. We're here right now. We're safe, we're okay, everything's good. Okay. So then we're going to soften the knees, bring the hands in front. Breathe in, circle the arms in front, and just place your palms up to the sky. Just imagine that you're filling with light.